In some parts of the country, drilling for oil is a 12-month business, but not here in northern Alberta. Hello, Canada, and welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Ford Women's World Curling Championship. Because so much of the oil here around Grande Prairie and the Peace region is under what they call muskeg or swamp, you really only have 4 good months when the ground is frozen. December, January, February, March. Then you have to go in and get that equipment, and that's what you're seeing here. Some of the equipment being brought in from the fields, which are about 200 kilometers north of here. If you don't go and get it, it will literally sink into the swamp. Each of the wells, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 feet deep, and each of those wells cost between $1 and $2 million. Kelly Scott, ready to go on the ice now for a second time on this Tuesday. And after a slow start, Kelly Scott and her team from Kelowna have rebounded well. They're among the leaders. With the play of Gina Schrader at third, Scott and the team are all smiling. They made the Swiss misses miss. It's the first time at a World Championship for the Netherlands. They only have 150 curlers, and 4 of their best are here, and under the direction of a former Canadian in Sherry Leibbrandt. You would think Kelly Scott and the Canadians are feeling pretty good after their win over Switzerland. They scored 3 and 9 to put it away 8-4 as we check the other scores from this afternoon's 10th draw. The U.S. go to 6 and 1. Debbie McCormick steals one to beat Germany in the 10th. Sweden remains undefeated, 7-5 over Norway, and Japan win their first, and they beat the Chinese to do it. So here are the standings. Sweden still undefeated. The United States within 1 game. Canada and Italy 2 games. They've lost 2. China slips to 4 and 3. Oh, Denmark, they won 3 in a row. They have lost 3 and now trying to shake that, tied with Germany. Norway sits at 3 and 4, and we still have the one team, the Dutch, looking to win their first. Could it be tonight against Canada, as we say good evening to Lyndon Ray?
Well, Vic, you know, it's a great thing for this team to even qualify for the World Championship. They don't have a lot of curlers. They don't have a lot of clubs. They did have to win their way here, the team from the Netherlands. But if you look at the 2 teams and compare the numbers, it is clearly Canada with a big advantage in this game. You have Canada, one of the top teams as far as shooting percentages. The Netherlands are at the bottom. Steals against, the Netherlands have given up 14. That is the worst. And they have not been able to get their deuces. It's just so tough for this team. All the little things that we talk about with the game, Ray, it's just difficult for them to execute here at the Worlds.
There's definitely a leak in the dike, Linda, that's for sure. The thing about Canada in this game, you know, it's one of those kind of games, you know you're better than this team, but I still think there's a little danger than just going up and down the sheet. You don't maybe have to make it too complicated, but you have to put some rocks in play and make them play some difficult shots. They can play the open hits and the open draws, but you have to push them a little bit, and Canada is playing great. Gina Schrader was fantastic today, and so was the skip. So the whole team played wonderful. Put some rocks in play, go get them, step on them.
And they'll step on the ice for this 11th draw when we come back.
The 2006 Ford World Women's Curling Championship on TSN is brought to you by Ford, built for life in Canada.
Here are all the games on the ice at the Canada Games Arena for this 11th draw of women's play, and our feature game, Canada against the Dutch, is on the outside sheet. Germany against Scotland, and the wheels have fallen off a little bit for Kelly Wood from Sterling. She's lost 3 straight. It's Japan and Denmark, the Japanese winning their first this afternoon. Denmark has lost 3 in a row, and they have a new, their skip Angelina Jensen has gone home because of an emergency, so they're going to have to revamp a little there. And Sweden will try to make it 7 straight as they play the surprising Italians who come in at 4 and 2, and Diana Gaspari from Cortina d'Ampezzo. It's time to meet the teams now, brought to you by True Value Hardware. Help is just around the corner.
I'm Gina Schrader, 3rd for Team Canada. Lead, Renee Simons. 2nd, Sasha Carter. Skip, Kelly Scott. And we're from the Kelowna Curling Club.
Hi, I'm Sherry Leibbrandt, curling for the Netherlands. This is my team. Lead, Margarita Volskerlin. Second, Eric Doornbos. Third, Ellen van der Kammen. And we curl at a curling club Utrecht in Utrecht, Netherlands.
The Canadians will play the red stones. The Dutch will play the yellow. And it is Holland who have the hammer. So it'll be the Canadian lead, Renee Simons, to get us going as Kelly Scott makes her way out and must be feeling a little bit better about herself and the team, Linda.
I think Canada's played a couple of solid games. There was some ends in the last game that were a little nervous for the coach, Jerry Richards. Some calls maybe that put them into a little bit of risk, but they pulled through once again. And as far as execution goes, they played well, especially, as you said, Ray, the third and the skip, Gina and Kelly.
Their execution has been terrific. I mean, it really has been. It was at the Scott. We've talked about Gina. She's certainly among the top things in our country. I said this afternoon, her peers feel that way. I've talked to curlers that just say Gina just is one of those players you'd love to have playing third for you because she just makes everything. And she's got a great way about her. She's a great thrower. She can throw her weight up a little bit, and she makes the clutch shots. But the team is starting. I think you can see they did take a few little jazzes in the later half of that game this afternoon. Maybe that they didn't have to take, especially in the 8th and 9th end. But they're executing so well, and Kelly looks so confident that I think they're back on track. They really are. Not that they were really a long way off of it or anything. It's just that they really look comfortable out there, and I think, as I said in my opening comments, you have to be a little careful against teams like this because you right down the list you're better than they are, and you just don't want to let them stay in the game very long if you can help it. I mean, maybe you don't have to go crazy with your offensive plays, but you've got to be careful that you just don't go up and down the sheet with them because they won their way here, as you mentioned, Linda, and obviously they're national champions, so they can make some shots. Let's make them make some difficult ones. Maybe a little too high, that guard, but
Erica Dornbos. Well, you can maybe tell that the skip is from Canada because the stone went back 4 and she went with the corner instead of playing the hit and playing up and down the sheet, Linda.
Yeah, you have to like that, Vic. We've seen this team, and obviously they don't get as much play, competitive play in the Netherlands. They have a dedicated curling club, which is a plus, but they just don't get the same kind of experience. But a good call by Sherry to put up the guard, and there's a nice tap back. So we have rocks in play, and the Netherlands looking to set up a deuce.
Now the Utrecht Curling Club is about 50 kilometers from Amsterdam, and that's where the dedicated sports facility is, and that's where, together with seed money from the World Curling Federation and the Olympic Committee of Holland, they built a 3-sheet club. There are 5 clubs in all of Holland, and that's the only permanent curling facility. Everything else is in hockey ice. About 150 curlers in total, but growing, and growing quickly.
Sherry did make the point too, Vic, that one of the things that happens when you're trying to grow your curling club, which is a wonderful thing to do, we're all very appreciative of that kind of attempt, is you get juniors and people off the street trying to try the game, and that means, Ray, as we know, anywhere, ice conditions sometimes can suffer. It's a little dirty, you have to take a lot of care trying to clean it up, so you don't always have the pristine conditions that a lot of our players in Canada get on a regular basis.
yeah, we get pretty spoiled over here, that's for sure, and that's been going on for years. Traditionally, the ice is a lot straighter in Europe. The rocks are a little bit duller, and they slide. Usually you get pretty quick ice over there. I remember curling, and I know you have too, in Bern and places like that where it's lightning fast.
Nice draw to the top of the 4-foot. Sasha will try and get it out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, clean. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Hard. Hard, hard, hard. Good shot. Good shot.
Now this lady is a good example of what's happening in Holland. Margareta Voskalen never knew about the game, had never played, and she plays tennis. And somebody at her office said, well, why don't you come and try curling? She literally fell in love with the game and is now taken over the ice-making duties at the permanent facility, and that's her full-time job.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, it takes people like that to really build a sport anywhere, and that's great that she liked it so much that she's nice for her to be here at a World Championship. I know they're not obviously not happy with their record. They haven't won a game yet, and I can't see them beating this Canadian team, who's one of the best in the world. Obviously, this year the best in our country, losing the Olympic final and then going on to win the Worlds.
Well, she's tied for second. Linda putting it on the spot. Who's better?
Hey, you gotta finish it then.
Putting me on the spot.
Flip the page. It is to be expected, I guess, in a way. Ida Lund from Sweden. That Swedish team is just a powerhouse, and they've played very well.
Great shot.
They are number one at second, third, and skip, and just number 2 at the lead position.
You should maybe keep those papers handy a few minutes.
Okay, Vic.
Well, Annette Norberg, by record alone, she's the reigning world champion. She won the gold medal, the Olympic gold medal. She is at present the best women's team in the world. How would you possibly argue that?
And dominant, very dominant in this event so far. And they've had a couple of ends maybe that aren't perfect, but overall the Swedish team is the team still to beat at this year's World Championships.
Question.
Looking for a little tap back. Didn't throw quite enough. It's not all bad. It tapped the red stone out from behind cover and rolled over, and Kelly Scott cannot ignore that rock at the back. Netherlands with the hammer in this end.
Center guard as Canada lies to without the hammer here in the first.
I think what I would say to Gina, if I was playing with her, I would say to her first, okay, nice shot, and that's for all the shots in the rest of the game. Yes. Because I'm not going to keep repeating.
That was even like a 9-9 instead of like a 10-3 in it.
Automatic.
Still came up with it.
Helen van der Kammen.
What a nice shot.
That is a great shot. Really nice shot.
Wilde je toch achterkant 8, achterkant 4? Nee, toch? Ja, maar dan moest je niks zeggen over de lengte. Nee, maar Margriet zei hij was te hard, maar het was achter. Nee, dat was goed, toch? Dat is prima.
Just gotta bump it through.
Okay.
So Kelly Scott settles in for her first.
Just a little bit more. Give it a
To
chance.
avoid the jam at the back.
That was a lovely little shot that Ellen just played. Got a bit of a roll, so Kelly has to cut the guard fairly tightly. Quiet weight.
Clean. Clean. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you got?
just biting, huh? Hanging on, so could be a problem.
Trying.
Good try, Cal. I was really trying hard, eh?
Well, Sherry Leibbrandt was born in Salmon Arm, grew up in Golden, and played for a number of years in the Calgary area. Went to an Alberta final, if I remember correctly. And played with Sandra Riceborough, losing to Deb Shermack, Deb Santos now. So she has plenty of experience, but really stepped away from the game for about 10 years. Medical reasons kept her out of the game, knee surgeries and other medical problems. And since going to Holland, she's taken up the game again and has been instrumental in really getting the game going.
It's got the little rub.
Well, it was an opportunity, of course, to hit that and get across the face and punch it out and lie too.
Yeah,
But
we got the tight. You're going a little bit out and bringing it back, so I think it picks up the roll. Okay. Just a little bit faster. All right.
Kelly's going to play a guard here, I think.
I think just a guard.
Okay.
Let's start it out there. Give it a chance, eh?
This is one of those times you could bring it in, Vic, if we start talking about the fact that Canada has the advantage as far as execution goes. You could bring this in top 8 foot as long as you don't set up the double takeout and put the little extra pressure on the team.
Live look at the game between Sweden and Italy. Sweden with the hammer, having won 6 in a row. Italy at 4 and 2. And the Italians are lying 1 right there at the back of the 12-foot. Final stone from Annette Norberg.
Whoa, needs to stop.
Get the guard on here, Kelly.
She did.
For the single for Sweden. One thing she did say to us is, being away from the game as much as she was, Linda, how the game has changed.
Yeah, Sherry has had a little break before coming back, and the strategy has changed, and the level of competitive play hasn't given her a lot of chance to try out her various game plans. In this case, she's elected to try to draw the 4-foot.
Ze zitten buiten. Lengte, lengte, lijn is goed, ja! Lijn is goed. Lijn is goed, echt alleen lengte. Alleen lengte. Blijf kijken. Ja!
What a nice draw.
Nice way to start for the Dutch. Sherry Leibbrandt. She'll get her single here in the first.
The 2006 Ford World Women's Curling Championship on TSN is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. By Scott Paper Limited, proud sponsor of curling for 25 years. And by Tim Hortons Roll of the Rim to Win.
The 4 sheets in play here at the Canada Games Arena, part of the Crystal Center in Grande Prairie. Our featured game is on one of those outside sheets. And what is this, Saturday, something like that? 4th day of competition, and we're starting to see a little more curl.
We sure are, Vic. Tim Yo and Jamie Barrasso have done a wonderful job of working on this ice. There is a little bit of curl. I want to talk a little bit about the temperature at ice surface. Now, on Sunday when it was a little straighter, it was at ice surface, it was about 23.3. And now they've got it warmed up a little bit, and it's now 24.4. And that's what they really like around the 24 area. And as a result, what's happened with that is that there now is a little bit more curl in the ice surface, about 3.5 to 4 feet. But because of that, you really have to watch the brushing, because while the 6th or 7th, then you get a little bit of fudging, as we've heard it called, in this area. So you have to judge your brushing a little quicker. But the ice surface is just great.
You call it fudging if you're polite. You call it other things if you're not. On a Tuesday night here in Grande Prairie, and a nice start for the Dutch as the skip, Sherry Leibbrandt, makes the draw into the 4-foot.
You can call it fudging, of course. It's just a little flattening out of the pebble by the 5th or 6th of the slide path area. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. That happens. We see it all the time, Linda. You just, as a brusher in particular, you have to be aware of it. Because the judgment of the brushing is so important. Ice that's a little bit softer. We had it, as I mentioned, colder on Sunday and Saturday, and as a result it was straighter. But it's been great work. They watch the temperature at the ice level so closely. 3, 4, 5, 6 times during the game, they'll check those thermometers and make sure. Because if it gets too warm out there, then you lose your pebble. And they are, Tim told me they're using a little different pebble now, a finer pebble, and as a result, they're getting a little bit more movement. And it's just
Let it work.
great. You can really get in behind the corner guards, the center guards.
And if it gets too warm, then of course we're doing synchro swimming.
There's some puddles out there.
I don't think we'll have to worry about that. There is no air conditioning in here, though, so he has to be careful. And you really admire the work that they put into this. They really care. I mean, all the ice makers are just fantastic about the, they really care about, they're like chefs, this ice is their baby.
No, it's the truth. We saw that in Regina, and how the Hans Vutrick and his crew were so proud of the fact that you could play stones to any spot on the sheet.
And the thing you have to remember, the set of stones that you have will react differently to the atmospheric conditions, and there's a little bit more moisture in the air now, as there was as compared to Sunday and Saturday. Humidity, and they track that all the time as well. Now we're on an outside sheet, so we got to be careful as it gets too warm in here, because sometimes that warm air comes down. You might get a little frost line, or you might get it flattening out a little quicker. And they'll watch that sheet closely, all the sheets, but that one in particular.
One dilemma for Sherry Leibbrandt, Linda, is how she calls this game. She may want to call it, how do I put this? She may be thinking Canadian, but she has to think Dutch in terms of skill level.
Sure, absolutely, Vic. The game plan has to be built around the team and the kinds of shots that they can accomplish. And you can't suddenly change because you're playing Canada or Sweden, for example, highly skilled teams. That last stone that the Netherlands played is not a bad stone. The call was to actually tap the Canadian rock back, but I'm not sure you would have got quite the same curl. If it had been able to freeze right up to the red stone, it would have been perfect in my book.
But I like what she's doing. And I think that when you have a team that you know you're not as good at, then you want to get as many rocks in play as possible, because you want to raise the element of luck level. And quite frankly, if I know my team is not as good as the team I'm playing, I draw to everything. I freeze to everything. I want more rocks in play than possible. As a result of that, I may get beat up and get beat up badly. But I might just get some lucky breaks, some rubs, and some rolls, and I might be able to get a few points more than I would normally in a game where we're just exchanging stones. But
this is Margarethe Voskallen. Mentioned that she runs the curling facility now. Actually has gone and attended ice making clinics in Fusen. And now what'd she say, Linda? It used to be the ice was done once a week. Now she's gotten to the point where she's doing it twice a week.
Well, I still believe with all my heart, and talking to all the ice makers, that you must shave the ice. You must use that scraper. You got to scrape the ice on a regular basis.
11.
So part of the plan, Vic, that we talk about, that it's maybe difficult for the Netherlands to think through, is when Canada has the last rock, you start to think, give Canada one. So that last shot, for example, if it had come up a little bit short, it would have been fine. It didn't curl enough for them, and now Sasha has a chance to get a little bit of an inside roll.
That would all, I agree, Linda, that would be better as a long guard even out in front.
Really good. Yep. Whoa, we're good.
And there's that little inside roll to lie to with the hammer here in the second.
11-5. Back Asian. Chip that up, that's okay.
Ellen van der Kamen throwing the third stones for the Dutch champions in their first world appearance. Let's take a look at the ice times, Linda. They're brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
Well, Ray's talked about the warming temperature, so we're going to revise our draw times a little bit. Hog to hog, 14 seconds instead of the 14 and a half. We expect it to be a little bit slower, and that means the guards are around 15 and a half to 16 seconds, not the super fast we saw. Hit still around 9.5 seconds on average for the teams today.
Gina Schrader. And so
Line's good.
I understand that, but what does it mean to the players? What do they have to adjust? How do they adjust to that?
Well, Vic, we talked about it a little bit earlier today. One of the major things is the rock doesn't glide at the end. So the brushers have to be very aware of that, but the curlers have to know that you can't just let it go as you did at the very beginning. You actually have to give it the speed that is required. The brushers can't carry it quite so far.
Ja. Kan je niks met de middelste? Kan je niks met de middelste? Weet
Well,
ik
there
niet.
is a
Kom maar.
combo there. That's what I think they're calling out. The yellow guard right at center line. You'd have to thread the needle to get through there. Yellow guard onto red stone, onto yellow stone, onto red stone. Vic?
Normal. Ja. Ja, hard.
Nope. Couldn't find the hole, but does open it up. And that Canadian stone will slide to the back 12. But there's just that one lonely Dutch stone in the rings right now.
It's in a great spot, though.
Same way.
Okay.
2.5. Line's good. 2.5, 3. 3. Need to bring it up for line. Bring it up for line. Come on. Come on, all you got, guys. Right up. Line's getting better. Right up. Hard. Hard. Every inch. Go, go, go. Hard, 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 hard. Right up. Nice shot. But
Took a while to get over.
too thin. Is that going anywhere out? This isn't going out anywhere. It's catching there, right?
It's gonna. Kijk, dat one.
Play this one? Or just play through the hole?
Of die. Maar dan kom je niet shot te
I think
liggen.
that's a little tough because we can pick our own out. I think we need to go this way.
Die?
Yeah.
Ga je deze spelen?
Updating Sweden
Of die?
Die.
against the Italians.
Nee, of die.
Sweden lying one at the back. There may have been an outside fighter on that quick look of the ring. So final stone on the way from Diana Gaspari from Cortina d'Ampezzo.
Komt er nooit langs.
What would be your favorite bit? Cortina d'Ampezzo or Oromocto? Now, if you had to choose.
Well, for those people in Oromocto, they are my favorite.
Okay. You are a Canadian.
Yeah, you betcha. Stopped just in time for their single point. Tied 1-1. Sweden with the hammer in the third.
We talked about coming through the hole, and then they, I think they've
Try and
gone to the.
tap that in. If it catches that front red one, that's okay. Might tap the yellow one back as well. So.
Yeah, they're tapping the yellow guard out in front, trying to get it straight back.
Almost full.
It will leave a rock out in front to play with. The only thing you can't do is chip it open and leave a double.
That's one.
Hard, Steve. Ja. 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 Wow. Wow.
Well, that yellow stone they pushed may be used if it's not gotten rid of.
Ja, het krult echt heel erg veel. Maar het
Thinking,
krult staat, dat
thinking
stond
along
net
the
ook
lines of the Dutch.
op het bord, hè, dat het heel erg krullend ijs was.
Well, it rolled to a great spot for Canada. I mean, there's definitely a double there now.
Here, and even if you punch that to
So
there,
what
you change.
Linda warned
That angle
Take it away from the middle of
us
those.
about, you hit that one there and come right off of here.
Nose doesn't hurt us. Rolling a bit
And
doesn't
even
hurt
if you do come off the back of this one, you
Keep it
might
up there. Probably run straight down the sheet, I would think.
Okay,
be a
Lindy.
little careful.
Sorry, Moosey. You're not executing if you're the Dutch.
And if we can just roll in to
Would you be
change
better just to
the-
say, all right, give them their deuce and just throw up everything in front and let them have their deuce? Because now you're in danger of, you make the double, they could be lying, Canada could be lying 5.
Yeah, she tried to make the right shot, Vic, to get a rock in a spot where you could maybe do a tap-tap or something. That was the worst thing that she could do, as we said before she threw it.
I agree, Vic, with your comment in the sense that right from the very beginning when they had the first one in there, I just would have been guard. Because you don't have the same amount of talent.
Hard! Hard! Quick! Quick! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
One, out the side it goes, and you can count them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is 5. To lie 5 with the hammer here in the second.
Yeah, it was just a really tough shot for the Netherlands to leave. Great
Getting good at
execution
those
by
straight
Kelly.
inside out
They're
hits.
actually nice because they
And
don't
now
do it
you're
for a
in
lot.
trouble.
You
you
are
can
in
hit
big
the broom,
trouble.
you're
That
pretty
rock
good.
rolled to absolutely a perfect spot for Canada, and Kelly made no mistake.
Well, it definitely
We know she
changes
throws
the
that
angles. You were
weight
right on
well,
that.
and
Hit enough of it so you either get the roll and even nudge the yellow a bit.
And the
Take this.
The Dutch have called an early timeout, realizing this could very well be the game for them early. And so their coach, Ben Weigers, has come out.
They do have a draw they could make to try and sit third shot.
Deze kant kom je er niet in.
I can't get in there.
Enige, dus damage control. Dus een kanonskogel op die
Up the
boord
yellow.
spelen.
And then hope that 7 kicks back, straight back. Nee, nee, als ik de rode speel en hit dat je heel helemaal bout, dan is het met 5-6. Nee, ik moet deze spelen.
kom je altijd achter de T-line uit. Dus even laten spelen.
This is the one here. I think I agree with her that if you can hit this one here onto this stone a little bit, it might spin off of this one and go into this area here.
On the nose. I think on the nose gets it here. It's gonna kick.
On the nose?
I think she could even draw around the whole thing though, Ray, to the third shot
Going
position.
this way or?
I don't disagree. This shot is certainly there,
No?
but it does require some precision.
Take it right here. Maybe it kicks. Let's try it.
Oh yeah.
So it just kicks that. Just kicks that. So it's take this again. Oh, we got.
Okay. So fast.
This is a shot that Linda's talking about. She thinks that she can get around this here maybe and get into this position here to cut the end down. It's certainly possible.
A good thing for the Netherlands, they have seen a couple come down this spot earlier in the end.
A hit. It has to be full.
There's a wide out turn too to the back of the forefoot if you could play the wide out turn draw.
Yeah, I think either draw looks easier. It's not that it's simple. Kelly would still have a way to get at it.
Final stone for the Dutch and Sherry Leibbrandt. Got to get through the hole first. Through the hole she is. And that's what she thought would happen. Will it hang around and sit for third shot? So that's the damage control that the coach talked about. Did it pop out into the open though?
She may have thrown that just a little too hard. I think it did pop out,
Yes,
did
it
it not?
did, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that she can get to this now. Just a little too hard. It just rolled a little too far. She got through the hole, which is not an easy shot. You can see now it rolls and it bounces off. If it stays right there, it's a great shot, but it bounces into the
There
open.
any danger?
So it's a quiet tap back for
Just if you hit it in, you punch
5
it into the
points.
forefoot.
We
Not
could
an
just
easy
tap
shot.
this up. I think it's there. The way it's curling, right? Let's get it out there with a little bit of weight, yeah.
What did you say, half or?
I think so, yeah. What have you got? Is it tight? Top. Well, try it. Hackish.
Hey.
The decision to try and go after it is certainly based on risk and reward. There's a big reward if you can get this shot, and you've got the two sitting in a nice spot right now.
Yep.
Quiet tap for 5 here in the second. Carter and Simons. Get it going. Gotta fight. Get it by. Get it by. For 5. Yes.
Way to go, good shot.
Sweeping, guys.
5. Come on, Kelly.
Aggression. It was too close.
We haven't seen many 5s from the Canadians. But they put 5 on the board here. Let's take a look at the key shots. They're brought to you by Cashmere. Now Cottonelle has an even softer name, Cashmere.
Well, good teams take advantage of opportunity. She made a great one with her first shot. Here it is. Look at this. Unfortunately for the Netherlands, they rolled to the perfect spot for that double. They'd been better off to be, out in front anywhere because Kelly was going to have a tough time getting 3 and left this one. Linda.
And actually, they were a little surprised at the curl here. They thought, yes, we can probably chip it. It just gets by the guard. It noses the one in the house, and that's the 5.
So the Netherlands will have the hammer, playing the Yellowstones here in the third. First Canadian stone has gone back 4 foot.
And if you're going to be a world champion and beat some of the top teams that are here, obviously the number one being Annette Norberg, you have to take advantage of your opportunities, and that's exactly what Kelly did in that situation. She was given them, and she stepped on them.
Oh, did you say top 12?
Yeah, I like it. I thought in the first end maybe Kelly should put a second one in, if you recall back to that situation, because pressure, rocks in play. This team is inexperienced from the Netherlands, and every time you get a couple in there, they get a little nervous. And although we don't certainly want to wish the Netherlands ill, it's important for Canada at this stage of the round robin to start to make some key shots. They've had a lot of really close games. They've made a lot of really good shots. But sometimes you need the big score to feel really confident heading into the second part of the week.
Keep it going, keep it going. Hard.
It's the second time that one's really sad.
Germany and Scotland as they play in the second.
Wordt gewoon vechten totdat we dood gaan,
Andrea
volgens mij.
Schott from Garmisch scored one with the hammer. This is the final stone for Kelly Wood from Stirling. Has lost 3 in a row, the Scots have. And they crash there, and it's a steal of one more for the Germans. They're up 2-0.
I didn't see it.
9.5.
9.5.
Canada doesn't have to take any chances. They'll move off any of those yellow stones that linger around the front of the house that could be used, could be tapped up.
Absolutely. You don't need to complicate anything anymore. You've got your control.
It's long.
Rub that a little, that's okay.
Margaretha Laskowlen throwing the second stones.
Achterkant 18.
Close.
Achterkant 8. Clean. Achterkant 12. Achterkant 12.
Off. Roll it in if you can. Roll it in if you can. Nice shot.
And she'll roll it in just to bite the top 12.
Nice, good call by Sherry.
Very good call. Good shot. They got one in behind. They've got the two in the middle grouped more.
9. 9.5. Yep, hard. Atta girl. Good job.
Sasha Carter's
just
been
run
with
straight
Kelly a
down the
long
chute.
time. They curled together in Winnipeg when they
ja,
won
net
the
iets
World
achter de 10.
Juniors.
Maar ze heeft voor jou nu wel veel minder ijs dan voor zichzelf. 8. A long way.
They need to sweep this a
Hey,
bit.
Trent's
do they
here.
not?
Yep, come on.
Now you can see the mitt on Sherry Leibrandt's hand.
Freeze only.
She's had some throat surgery, so she can't bellow a la Russ Howard. So she has the yellow on one side when she wants them to brush. She has the red on the other side to tell them to stop. And then occasionally you'll also hear her whistle.
Well, you certainly have to communicate, so that's a clever idea.
Very.
Clean. Clean. Whoa, 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 whoa. Clean. Whoa, it's running. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's good, Gina. Yeah, 8-4.
Double's there. Sorry, Vic.
That's okay.
Double is there. You could light 2 off this, and you can make the double.
Looking at Japan and Denmark as well as they play in the third. 1-1 tie. Final stone for the Japanese skip. Yukako Tsuchiya won her first this afternoon, beating China, and now drawing against a couple. It'll be a steal of 1 for the Danes, who are playing without their skip. Angelina Jensen has gone home. Angelina usually throws the lead stones and skips, so Madeleine Dupont has taken over skipping the team from Denmark.
Unfortunately for Sherry Leibbrandt, that one rolled out. It could have made the double, could have rolled in front. Lots of options and just over curled.
Good shot. Good shot.
Nice weight, Gina.
Nice.
It's perfect. That just runs so straight.
Psyches you out a little bit. You think it's going to
Yeah.
go, and then you cycle. Tight. Where is it?
They'll try a freeze, try to rebuild this end.
Eyes hard. Got no back. Come on, hard line. Eyes happy. Where is it? Eyes hard. 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 Right up, guys. Come on, hard. Okay. Nose isn't bad, then she's got
Yeah.
to bump you.
Maybe like a 9-8 or so.
Ik denk als je een vries wil, dat je gewoon 12 moet gooien en moet vegen. Hetzelfde als je met jou had. Maar ja, de ijs halverwege rood. Deze keer is het een beetje inside.
9-8 or so.
Ja, maar dan nog, dan is hij nog
Quite a bit of
als ik
ice,
hem nog
but
zacht
just a little weight to hold it.
Well, I talk about presence and other teams looking in on games where they may have to play Canada next. That 5 on the scoreboard sets a little mark for this Canadian team. It's the first time they've really gotten some tremendous shots in a row. They've made some great shots, but big end for them, and that stands out on the scoreboard, and it certainly stands out for other countries that may be scouting them, seeing how well they've played these first few ends.
Canada lying 3 without the hammer here in the third. Sweden, Italy in a 1-1 tie. And this is an open draw for 3 for Annette Norberg.
Vic, Italy in this game, they know they're up against a very good team. They got one in this particular end and tried to guard it, and it was a double raise on Annette's first rock that removed the shot stone, and Italy couldn't do much with it once that shot was made, and there's the draw.
So Sweden goes in front 4-1 as they look to go to 7-0. The United States are currently second in the standings. They have the evening off at 6-1.
Yeah, you've got to tap it back 6 inches.
She doesn't make this perfect now. Is it worth guarding it, or should we just be picking it?
I don't mind the guard.
Yeah.
got the double off the side.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll just pick it again then. It's going to be tough.
Sherry was proud to say that she just recently got her Dutch passport. You have to spend some 100 hours or so, if not more. You have to take Dutch history as well as learn other things before you can pass your citizenship. And she just was told when she got here that she's been given a Dutch passport.
Hey, sweet guys, sorry.
Oh.
Living in the country now for about 3 years.
Short? Real short.
Or a top 12, yeah, because
Just
we
lock
can
a guard
come
on
in that
that.
far, hey? I kind of like that. 'Cause if we guard this, she's even got that run on that.
But if you're 3, that's good.
Yeah, better light than heavy. Even a little more ice.
She's going to come right into the face of her own.
Top 12 or kind of come around and bite the top 8 would be really good.
Okay.
But 3 is fine. Exactly.
There you are, top 12. Or top 8.
Line's nice. You got room, guys. Let it work. Let it work. Line's really good.
5, 6.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. High.
Coming down now.
Whoa.
Just want a 4 here.
Whoa.
Line's perfect.
Yeah,
4,
finish
5.
it for line. Hard line.
Hard. Tuck around.
Hard line. Hard line. Go, go, go.
Go, go. Okay, good.
And they do tuck it around just a little bit to line 4, and everything is in the 8-foot.
Holy cow, did that curl. He's way the
shot.
heck out there.
Nice job.
Yeah. Or should I hit
Well, that's a good indication of just how
That's,
nicely the ice
that's
is
pretty
curling.
good
That's
for
about
weight.
4 feet.
Yeah,
We're
like,
definitely
it
getting
did
between
come down a bit.
3.5 to 4 feet from the outside in, and even solid 4 feet, I think.
Je had net uit in het
En,
rood, toen kwam je hier.
Ja, maar dat is de andere kant.
If you remember back
Ik
to
weet niet hoe deze kant is. Het maakt
Sunday
mij
and
niet
Saturday,
uit.
if you happen
Ik
to be
zeg
with
het
us,
alleen maar. Als hij overkrult zit hij op de gele.
2.5 was
Je kan hem
about
beter
max,
iets,
but
je kan hem beter te wijd hebben.
Beetje meer.
It looks like they're going to try and outdraw that stone. They could play the hit and roll or double off the side red. But she made a very nice draw in the first end.
Draw.
Oh, okay.
Gotta be full 4.
Get the pinhole to get shot. Get the 4-foot to cut down the Canadians, who are lying 4 without here in the 3rd. Sherry Leibbrandt.
Ja, maak hem diepen.
Doornbos is on the left. Vaskalen is on the right. And has it taken off here? Really big scrub. Really big scrub. Now they're playing the raise. And that'll cut him. Whoa! Nicely done. Nicely done. Plan B works.
Ja, dat zeg ik tegen je.
Maar we hebben heel veel ijs. Het is veel meer ijs dan ik heb
Ja, maar
verwacht.
deze is wel, ja. Maar dat, ik zeg tegen je, onze stenen die curlen echt.
Ja, maar
It was a beautiful day here in Grande Prairie. Soon we'll be playing golf. We're playing golf, of course, on the PGA already. And the Players' Championship in Sawgrass begins this Thursday, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific. The Players' Championship, part of the PGA on TSN. As we go to the 4th, Canada scored 5 in the 2nd, stole 1 in the 3rd, lead 6-1. The Dutch, playing the Yellowstones, have the hammer in 4th.
beautiful evening sunset. Wouldn't like to have one of those in your front yard, Vic? One of those big pumps just pumping up and down.
Just spitting money.
Yeah.
Hey!
Well, people were very kind today and taking us around, and it's all because of the current price of crude and
Keep coming, guys.
natural
Keep
gas
coming.
that makes it economical.
Right up. Good job.
So it was a bad break for the Netherlands in the second end to chip one rock out into the open and leave a double, but a good break in third because it looked like she was going to miss that shot. Got the raise all the way to the 4-foot and meant it was just a steal of one for Canada.
Whoa, need to curl. Whoa, just to it now. No. We're okay. 7, just a quarter of it. Good shot, Renee. Nice weight.
Good chance for someone like Renee, who struggled a bit in her last game at 68%, to throw rocks cleanly, get a really good feel in this game for the weight, end up with some good numbers, and feel very confident heading into tomorrow.
Wow. Achterkant 12.
Back 12.
Start, ja. Stop. Stop. Hard.
Roll it, Elle, if you can.
Sasha Carter.
Hard, Gina, go. Hard. Good shot.
Beck, you were talking about the fact that Sherry Leibbrandt doesn't have a lot of opportunity to work on her game plan and her strategy. They don't have the same chances to see competition and hear the players like we do. And this is one of those times when you're way behind. You have to go to the draw game. You have to play quiet shots, tap backs. Can't have any danger of letting your rocks roll out.
Oh, there.
That's a different way to get them spread around. Worked out pretty well.
Okay, Sash.
The big thing is that Sherry knows the level of play in our country. Obviously, being a Canadian and born here and played here and got to a provincial final. And it's really tough for someone like her to come to the national, an event like this without the support on the front end or the support at third. And we've already talked about Gina Schrader, who's gives Kelly probably the best support of anybody in our country. And it's tough when you're out there. You're trying to, you know how to play it, and you just can't get the execution to.
Achterkant 12. Achterkant 12. Hard. Laat nog tegen.
Not sure if they're just a little outside in that spot, but the rock is wide open. Didn't get it behind cover.
All right, you've got somebody, and you're playing a team.
8-8.
Do you, with all respect to the Dutch, do you use this somewhat as a practice? You don't want to lose an edge here. You want to still do what you usually do. You want to make your shots. You don't want to leave anything at the back like that. You want to make sure you roll out. Everything else stays the same. You really can't look at the board, can you?
If you're Canada, you're meaning? They have to play a little defensively, Vic. They've already had the big end and played it very well.
Here we go live between Sweden and Italy. And Diana Gaspari is throwing and facing three. And she'll sit there and moved everything far enough to get a deuce.
That's a great shot because Annette Norberg had just made a double with her first one, and great throw by the Italian skip.
She represented Italy in the Olympics.
Do you want to?
But Italy's a good example, Vic, of a team that's been together for a while. They have a coach, Roger Schmidt, a Canadian, that's gone over and working on the program. And it's the kind of thing that the Netherlands will have to slowly do. They have to build up a team, build up a training pool, work with them on strategy. Sherry's already admitted the team don't all have the same knowledge of strategy, so they'll work on those sorts of things, ice reading, playing in different kinds of conditions, and it'll just take a little bit of time for this team to build itself up to the level of where they're able to get some wins here. And Sherry knows it. She was very kind before the game to chat with us and talk to us about the conditions
Maybe when you get
in
off
the
the
Netherlands.
line.
Live to the game between Germany and Scotland. Andrea Schopp just missed the takeout, flashed the stone, sitting top 8. So this is an open draw now for the Scots. And their skip Kelly Wood of Stirling trying to snap a 3-game losing slide. So they're all even at 2.
Bump ours up. We should come this way, though. Just because by the time you buy that, aren't we going to overcurl?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you won't miss a thing here. Japan against Denmark, and look at this. The Japanese, who today won their very first game, beating China, have an opportunity here against Denmark to get a possible 5. Avoid the jam, they do. They roll to the edge and they'll sit in time. Look at that. 5 for Japan. They lead 6-2.
Just to be safe.
Kelly's playing the tap on her own, I think.
Whoa, wait for it. Whoa.
She is. She's trying to keep that front covered. To get a rock into a slightly better position, deeper into the house.
Yep. Quick! Quick! Hurry! Hurry! Hurry, 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 hurry! Nice shot. Nice shot. Good shot. Yeah. Good call on that. I never start curling.
Poor Sherry, she's going to have nightmares tonight. She has red rocks in her head all night long. I mean, she's been looking at so many stones.
I still have Grace.
That's a huge five.
Play the raise now and see if this one comes back.
Is that anything like seeing red wine in your sleep?
So I'm just going to raise the corpus.
Ja, als je hem nu gewoon... Ja, doe dat maar. Welke lengte ga je gooien? Wil je deze doorstoten of wil je hem op de rode door?
Recht door naar de hardline. Keyline.
Ja? Niet, je wil niet die rode eruit.
Oké.
We moeten wel de lengte zeggen.
She's got a raise. That's the
Lengte.
one good thing. The Yellowstone has a clear path into the 4-foot.
Is that what she's playing?
She
Yes,
is.
it's a lot of ice for that raise, though. I know it's curling a lot, but
Straight back. Tap back. Then I have a guard or I have a hit and roll for my last shot. If I don't play this up now, then I'm in trouble. T-line.
Yeah, born in Salmon Arm, but grew up in Golden.
Back 8.
Yep. Whoa,
You're flipping for. Whoa!
whoa,
Whoa!
yep. Veel te hard.
Why were we sweeping?
Hij is veel te hard.
it's frustrating. There's no question.
You know, you've got to learn it. You look back at the Olympic results here, and you think about the Olympic women's hockey. Canadian women beat the Italians 16-0. They beat the Russians 12-0. You've got to learn somewhere. Unfortunately, sometimes that learning comes on the world stage.
It does point out, Vic, that if you don't do that learning enough at home, you know, in Europe there's lots of bonspiels, but if you don't get out there and play in them and see the different conditions and the different styles of play, and then just put in lots and lots of hours of practice, it is very difficult to come here and play against these top teams.
Just a guard. And it in the 4-foot line.
Canada is lying 3 without here in the 4th.
Anywhere to a top 12 works.
4, 4. 4 is fine. Yeah. 4 is fine.
Whoa!
Whoa, whoa, not too deep.
Sit.
The Canadians are now lying 4 without.
Nervous it was coming in too deep.
Okay.
Well, she really doesn't have very much except what she's looking at, which is coming off of that one, onto that one.
Ja, maar goed, deze komt daaruit met dat ijs. Dus als je minder ijs komt hij daaruit.
Therefore?
Jij mag gooien wat je
Mag
wil.
je lopen maar.
Volgens mij moet je gewoon die keulen doorstoten.
Die lijn?
Volgens mij moet je gewoon die keulen.
Raaks
Weet je wat het nadeel is als je niet een rol speelt? En die gaat eruit en je rolt er zelf uit en doet hier tegen.
Ja, oké.
Well, she's going to
That
draw,
there
and
ice,
she
yeah?
gets a little rub, I guess, is what she's thinking.
Ja. Ja.
Always chip off the edge
Ja.
of this.
Ja. Ga toch weer de rol doen. Ga toch weer de rol doen.
The Canadian team haven't left them much. There's a couple of options.
I like
There is
the
a hit and
draw,
roll
the
to draw.
double
There is the double tap out in front.
Or hit and roll.
None of them are easy.
What's that? That's my thought, but Elle doesn't like it.
Als je maar raakt, dan ben je dan wel van je kwijt. Of die nou komt of niet.
You've seen the draw. You just can't overcurl. That's the biggest problem. Die lijn.
Yep. Yep. Up. Yep.
Facing 4.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's gone.
And going to give up 4 more for Canada here in the 4th.
That one curled.
Ik begrijp er niks van.
To make it a 10-1 game, Canada leading the Dutch through 4.
That one curled. Hillville.
I get it.
Let's meet these two teams and throwing the lead stones for Holland, Erica Doornbos. For Canada, Renee Simons. The seconds, Margaretha Boskalen and Sasha Carter. The thirds are Ellen Vanderhamen and Gina Schrader. And the skip for the Netherlands out of the Utrecht Curling Club is Sherry Leibbrandt, Holland. And Canada's Kelly Scott out of Kelowna, BC. Northwest Alberta, the Peace Region. We're in Grande Prairie. Just a reminder, coming up tomorrow, the NHL on TSN, Philadelphia and the Rangers as they battle in that Eastern Conference towards the playoffs. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. The Flyers and Rangers tomorrow, the NHL on TSN. 10-1. Canada, a 5, a 1, and a 4 as we go to the 5th. And the Dutch, who scored one with the hammer to start the game, will have the hammer playing the Yellowstones here in the 5th. I had to look. Highest score ever recorded. One team, Switzerland, got 18. Beat Italy 18-1 back in 1979, and the Swiss then got 18 against Norway in an 83 final.
Oh, get it over. Come on, get it over.
I'm seeing that correctly.
Come on,
There's
get
a
it
little
over.
The 3-hole punch took out part of the word.
But it looks like it's Nor, so I'm assuming that would be Norway in 83. No, that's 83 that's your friend, Erica?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Eric Mueller won that year.
And Erica Mueller is here coaching the Swiss team.
I mean, this is now tough for Canada. It was nice to get off to the great start, make the big shots, but now, yeah, you're really feeling kind of uncomfortable out there. You've got such a big lead. You're not going to put any rocks in play.
Erica Doornbos.
Ik weet niet wat iemand die steden doet hoor, echt niet.
Shot her. Job, guys.
Sasha Carter.
Yep.
For Canada, this is a time when you just
to
try to make sure you stay focused and just throw the rock cleanly at the broom. It's actually, even though it's a little uncomfortable, it's a great exercise, and make sure that you don't let down, that you keep throwing the rock well, correct weight.
Ik weet alleen wel dat er nog aardig wat getraind moet gaan worden.
Halfway.
Oh. 2.
You like this turn? Hey, heel.
Well, I come back to you then. What are you looking to do? What are you trying to... Do you suddenly say, all right, within your own mind, you're working on something, or do you let the game dictate still what you're playing, and then you practice those shots?
Yeah, you're playing open hits, Vic, so unless it's, of course, on leads rocks where you can't hit them, but after that, you're just hitting everything in sight, and so it's important not to buzz them down there. Just keep up the normal weight, throw them well to the broom.
Feeling is a big part of curling, and this is exactly what they're going to be doing, and they're working on their the appealing game. I just saw the Italian skip Diana Gaspari throw a hit against Sweden, a double takeout, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone throw the rock harder. I didn't realize she could throw that hard. She absolutely Kevin Martined it. It was unbelievable.
She's actually a very fine player.
Yeah, I didn't realize that she could throw that. Boy, I tell you, because the rocks were semi-frozen, and we were on an angle, Linda, and she had to drive it right across the whole house. She just fired it and made it.
Let's get there. Shot ups.
Japan and Denmark. After Japan scored 5, and the Japanese appear to be lying to. We told you about Denmark and their skip Angelina Jensen going home because of medical reasons. Madeleine Dupont was always throwing the 4th stone, but she is now skipping the team too. And she'll T-line 4-foot for the single point to go to the break. Japan leading 6-3.
Yep. Atta girl, Gina, good throw.
We have to say that Japan is having a marvelous day after a very slow start. They've had a great game against China earlier today. Of course, they play each other in the Pacific Championships, and probably a little rivalry there. And then another great game from Japan in this game against Denmark.
Ellen Vanderkamen. This team has been together for a couple of years.
On its own. Bring it T-line. T-line. Try something different.
10. Clean room. Clean, yep, hard. Whoa. Little roll, Sash, whoa, you got quite a bit. Nice shot.
Rolls it away to the edge of the 4. Well, we can tell you that Germany
Nice shot, Gina.
has scored 1 in the 5th. And so they go to the break 3-2, Germany leading Scotland. And we'll tell you as well that Sweden and Italy blanked in the 5th. They're going to the break. Sweden up 4-3 on the Italians as they take their 5th end break.
Yeah, that was the rock I was talking about that Diana Gaspari threw. There was 2 rocks frozen in the back of the 12-foot, and she just hummed it down there and got rid of the both of them. And that Norberg then threw her through and blanked the end.
Whoa! Where is it? Back 4. Right here. Come on, hard. Come on, guys, bring it hard. Hard. Okay.
Well, they're trying everything. That was supposed to be a freeze, but a good call at the very last moment to try and bring it by and see if you could get a little protection from that red stone.
There you go.
Maybe like 9.5.
9.5. Okay.
This game really does come at a great time, though. The fact that they've got a big lead. We talked about how well Gina's played, how well Kelly's played, but there have been a few ups and downs, and we've also talked about, Vic, how close many of the games have been, even though Canada seemed to be dominating. So this is a nice game. They've played well. They're going to, looks like, have an early end to the evening if the Netherlands team can't get back in it quickly. And they are back on the ice in the morning, so it's just the perfect time of the week to have one of these games.
Yeah.
And here is the Wednesday schedule for the Canadians. They'll play Italy and Diana Gaspari at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. They'll have the afternoon off, and then Wednesday evening at 9:30 Eastern on the ice against the 2003 world champion, who has this evening off, and that's Debbie McCormick, currently at 6-1.
And Debbie herself put on a great performance this morning, or this afternoon. What was it, this afternoon? Yeah, I think it was this afternoon. They run together.
They do indeed.
I think she curled 95%, and made just everything. And they had to steal the game, so you can expect them to be ready for the Canadians. Well, I agree with what you're saying. It's a nice game for Kelly to have. They obviously have a much better team than this team from the Netherlands, but you still have to throw the rocks, and this is a chance to semi-relax. You don't need any more points.
Okay, I was talking with Kelly before the game, Linda, and she was saying that, jokingly, she says, I blame you because you guys are always focusing on us. There's nowhere else for you to go. It's not like the Scott. And
Pick it clean.
I think she realizes, if she didn't realize before, that every team out there guns for Canada. And she realizes every team tries their best. Well, I mean, not that others wouldn't, but there's something about, if you're not among the elite, you're always going to beat Canada.
Yeah, the two teams this year that definitely have little marks on them are Sweden, the reigning champs, and Canada, because they are from Canada and they're expected to be one of the best. And we know this team is one of the best.
And she stuffed it, and so there you go. The mistake. And the Dutch are going to have a chance for two.
More than the other way, it's tough.
We should have just peeled them, Gina's. I just thought it was late enough in the end, but they still have 3 rocks left to do stuff with. Oh well, not a big deal.
No. Okay.
No, no big deal at all.
Just needs a piece of the floor. Might get a little sticky out there, you guys. I'm a long way out.
Lijn. Denk jij? Hij mag achterkant 8 ook, maar zeker weten. Oh.
And a long way out, she said. Needs a piece of the 4. And now it needs to dig in quickly for them, and they do. Look at that. Hangs on at the back for a couple. The Dutch get 2 here in 5. But it's still all Canada. 10-3 at the break.
The 2006 Ford World Women's Curling Championship on TSN is brought to you by Ford, built for life in Canada.
Well, it's 10-3 Canada as we take the break, and it's time to check the numbers after 5. They're brought to you by Tim Hortons. Roll up the rim to win.
Well, as can be expected, down the left-hand column, you've got all the big numbers. The score, first of all, of course, the steals have been a big part of this. Kelly Scott in the earlier game today, 92%. She's at 90 now. They have just been very solid, and a very nice part, as I mentioned, of the week, to have a big game.
So the Dutch try and regroup. They score 2 in the 5th. That'll be Canada with the hammer when we come back.
The 2006 Ford World Women's Curling Championship on TSN is brought to you by Tim Hortons Roll Up the Rim to Win, by Strauss Herb Company, and by Scott Paper Limited, proud sponsor of curling for 25 years.
We're at the Crystal Center. The Canada Games Arena is part of the facility here. Just a reminder, coming up next, Jennifer, Mr. Dutchie, Mr. Detition will have the next edition of Sports Center, and he should feel very proud of his son, Tyler. Tyler Detition spent 2.5 seasons here playing for the Grande Prairie Storm of the Alberta Junior Hockey League, and this past season was his very best. 24 goals, 44 assists for 68 points, and he was a toughie. 105 penalty minutes as well. Tyler Detition, in his 2.5 years with the Grande Prairie Stormers. We welcome you back to our continuing coverage of the Ford Women's World Curling Championship, and Canada leading 10-3, have the hammer playing the Redstones in 6.
Ik vind 10-3 toch beter dan 10-1.
Ja, dat sowieso.
Dat kan hem op de steen.
Well, a nice draw for 2 points and a little better feeling. They're having a little fun with it anyway, and that's great.
Here, zal ik even doen, hè? It's there. What you so excited for, Air? It's perfect.
Is that my imagination, Linda, or are those the longest brushes you've ever seen?
I hadn't looked before this.
They look longer than the normal brush.
That 10 on the scoreboard will boost Canada's numbers coming into this. They were not all that high-scoring a team. We've talked about the close games so far for Canada.
Yep, you gotta go. Yep,
Their
hard.
biggest victories over Germany and Switzerland with 8 points, but they've had a couple of real close ones. And actually, as far as teams getting deuces go, they are not that high. They're not amongst the leaders as yet, but that 5 certainly will jump off the page when you see that on the stats.
Nee, niet dat laatste stukje nog te opleunen. Gewoon lekker rustig loslaten.
The Dutch lead is Erica Doornbos. If you're a Formula One fan, you wonder too. Doornbos, Robert Doornbos, related? No. She says Doornbos is much like Smith. Robert Doornbos last year drove for Minardi, and this year is a test driver for the Red Bull team that includes David Coulthard, Robert Doornbos.
No, I rolled it overhand, I think.
Huh?
Just gonna roll it off the upper hand.
I learn a little more every year from you, my pal. A little more every year.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers. They're brought to you by Alexander Keith's. Those who like it a lot.
And I did say that Renee Simons had a game that was low for her in the last game at 68%. Well, didn't take long to turn that around, up to 91%. And good numbers for Erica as well. It's been difficult because there have been, as the lineup goes down, there have been some very nice shots made by Canada.
Pretty high, lots of line.
Some early setups have not been bad for the Netherlands.
Shot, Renee.
Back 8, 8 foot, just back 4.
2 rocks left on value, 2 value, 2 value.
Margarethe Voskalen.
Achterkant 4. Achterkant 4. Achterkant 4.
Okay.
And here is where you start to see the spread. Canada having the advantage. Sasha Carter's numbers surprisingly low as far as I'm concerned tonight. The only thing over the week she struggled a little bit has been with her out turn, which she seemed to have straightened out better in the last couple of games.
Achterkant 4.
And here's one right now.
Clean.
Out turn hit.
Clean room. Clean, yep.
Can't remember her missing many shots in this game, so
Hard. Hard, right
up.
scoring her a little
Right up.
tough today.
Right up, little bump, Renee. Yep. Shot.
Right.
Three rocks thrown, and they're all in the house for Canada here in the 6th.
Normal. Light. Een kleine hendel.
Nice shot.
Live look, Sweden and Italy. And there's a Swedish zone, top of the button.
9.5.
And so this is a draw for 2 for Annette Norberg.
Diana Gasperi just had a chance to come down and kind of sit in front of that, and she just, that's the rock at the back of the forefoot. She just slipped by it, so allowed Annette Norberg an open draw for 2, and the world champion, gold medalist, doesn't make many mistakes.
No, she gets a couple there to take the 6-3 lead. She went 11-0 last year in round robin at the Worlds in Paisley, and she comes in here 6-11. That's 17, trying to make it 18 straight round robin wins, statistically speaking. Linda.
That's impressive. They just look so solid. That's the hard part about playing Sweden. If you were sending a scout over there to look for weaknesses, they'd be sitting there a long time before they found one.
That's for sure. They're just a great team. How many games did they lose at the Olympics? Can you remember that one? I can't remember. Oh, I pulled it. Everybody's scrambling.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm sorry.
The number is somewhere.
Okay, it's good there.
Everybody is scrambling.
There are papers flying.
9.
Gina Schrader.
To summarize the Winter Olympics,
Yep.
in winning the gold medal, Sweden went 7-2 in round robin, won the 2 playoff games, beating Switzerland Miriam Ott in the final, and had a 79% shooting percentage overall.
Nice throw.
And lost 2.
In round robin play. Let's just take a little break from that.
Okay.
Gina Schrader, I mean, how many times have we said she's just right at the top in every game that we watch, 85%.
Fantastic.
Oh, I like to harder. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Not all bad.
Hey, Gina.
There is a double.
Yes, there is.
Heel.
Little more curl on these shots than there has been in the past, but with the big weight, they won't curl very much.
Clean. Heel. Clean. Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard. 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 Nice shot.
Great shot.
Nice.
Do you think of anybody that you'd rather have throw that than her, Linda?
I wouldn't. I've, of course, seen her ever since she was born. I curled against her mom, Carrie Lynn, and
Double it off.
she's just always been a good player in juniors and now in women's play. She's just one of the best.
And when you hear other curlers talk about her, that's when you really know, because your peers know. Your peers know.
Ga je het halen?
Well, those two stones at the back of the forefoot,
A little bit on the inside of the nose.
they belong to Denmark. The stone in the forefoot just thrown by the Danish skip Madalena DuPont. Final stone on its way now from the Japanese. And Yukako Tsushiya from Kurosawa, leading 6-3, trying to win their second of the day after starting the event, winning their or losing their first 5. Oh, wow. Look at that. You bet. That deserves high fives. Nice draw by Yukako Tsushiya.
In reality, the one set of numbers is based on the other. Kelly Scott and her team just playing so well, and Sherry Leibbrandt has had very little to work with. Some of the ends, very difficult shots. Kelly Scott at 90%.
That's good ice.
Yeah, this is the exact line of that tap, right?
Yeah, that's what we had.
Maybe a little bit less, but you had more weight.
Yeah, okay. In front of that one.
Okay.
Top 12-ish is nice.
She's being kidded, of course, you know. I've seen today one of the papers had, and I mentioned it to her, I said, do you really want to be called Cupcake? Because that's what some of the, well, the headline was about Cupcake and about the, because she's not overpowering. She's very, really sweet in everything she does and says to her teammates, and so the media row here has named her
Got room.
Cupcake.
Lots
Well,
of line.
she says, as long as I win, they can call me anything I want.
Exactly.
That's really
I
good.
want.
Well, that's what I
Well
talked about
designed.
present. She's quite
Well
small in
designed.
stature, and that's why you do some of your talking with shot making, and that's what they're starting to do right now in this round robin.
Okay, nice shot.
Thought I was a little less than that.
Good shot.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. I thought I
Against
was
the rule,
lighter.
one staying in the forefoot, so.
That's right.
Ja, heb je rode daar op de hoek dan? Wil je? Oh ja. Ja, ik zie het. Half of die kant?
It's a tough double to
Hier,
hold the
deze
shooter.
kant of die kant?
Just looking at that back one.
Maakt niks uit, hè?
Might get all 3 of them.
Het
mind
kan
you.
allebei, toch? Als het allebei halve steen is, kan het toch? Dus
Of hier of hier.
Ja, ja, het schelen. Gooi er een bom op. We hebben niks te verliezen.
Be nice to finish with a triple, Linda.
It sure would.
See if we can play triple.
It's been a
Pretty
tough
tight, those
night,
two.
and
I
you're
don't know if we
on
can get the triple,
television,
but
and
let's
there's
try.
people that you've curled against if you're
Yeah, I
Sherry
can't
that
freeze
are
it.
watching.
Proberen, joh.
Nothing's gone very well, so nice chance to make a big shot.
Final stone for the Dutch here in the 6th.
Sweep it out. Sweep it. Sweep it out, at least. You swept it out.
Good attitude. You know what, you're getting pounded, but at least she's thinking,
This one was totally clean.
doesn't want to give in.
Ja.
That wouldn't go up in the back.
Hè?
Wouldn't sweep out.
Nee.
I see it. It's just
Nee.
so it's harder to draw.
Nee, hij had iets meer moeten curlen.
Iets meer.
Ja, maar deze lijn was ook gewoon...
Like a 9, Gina?
So a
Little
chance
up?
for 3 for the Canadians here in 6.
No, I think we better stay with that. It'll curl, I'm sure, eh?
Final stone.
Yep.
Yep. Hard. Hard.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard.
Clean, clean,
Clean.
clean.
And out the back in line, 3 to lead it, 13-3, and that's all.
Thank you. Good game. Thank you.
As Canada improves their record to 5-2, and the Netherlands fall to 0-7.
Good fight today, guys.
Good job.
Smacking.
Good job.
A 5, a 4, and a 3 help get you a 13-3 win.